So you know when you're scrolling TikTok or Shorts and you see a video of some low poly horror game or something similar and it looks pretty funny, but it's like clearly and obviously streamer bait, like Cashier Simulator or games along those lines? There are a lot of games like this, and while they can result in some funny clips here and there, a lot of them aren't actually that fun outside of watching a streamer scream at them on Instagram. There was a demo a little while ago that did the rounds of this retro horror game called Shift at Midnight. I saw it, you've probably seen it, and let me tell you, I did not know what to think of this one. From the outside looking in, it has all the makings of that exact kind of game, right? The simple but effective art style, the menial, repetitive tasks, the clippable moments, it's all there. But I'd be lying if I said there wasn't something that kept me thinking about it. Whether it's the Papers, Please inspired gameplay loop or the genuinely unnerving atmosphere, something kept pulling me back to that Steam page. And so I decided to take the plunge. And what I found on the other side, man, this game is so much more than just some clip farming streamer bait. It's actually really good, and I can't wait to tell you more about it. So, there's the fucking intro. So, what even is the game really? I almost guarantee you've seen it at some point, but the gist is you're working a shift at a gas station at midnight. I know, really creative title, and you're basically responsible for all of the normal gas station related jobs. Stocking the shelves, serving customers, cleaning shit off the bathroom walls, fucking hell, all the usual stuff. But you are very quickly informed that not everything is as it seems. People have been going missing in the town that you're in and are being replaced by non-human entities, a fact that doesn't seem to bother people all that much as they continue to go about their business in the middle of the night, buying snacks, and yes, shitting on my fucking walls. It's rough out there, okay? And as a late night gas station employee, you have the most important job of all: interrogating every single person that comes to buy anything at all to ensure they are who they say they are, and if they're found to be a doppelganger, executing them on the spot. You know, normal night shift stuff. I'm sure you can see how I expected this to just be some goofy clip farming experience, but that's exactly where I got it wrong. Right from the get-go, that idea gets thrown out the window, where you're thrust into service and you're greeted by the local sheriff. He tells you a little bit more about what's going on in town, the doppelganger skinwalker situation, and how to conduct yourself, and then you're sort of left to your own devices. And in that, the first thing that really stuck out to me about this game is how it handles its story. A very common trend with those games that go mega viral on TikTok is that a lot of them are quite vague in the way they present themselves. Now, this isn't always a bad thing. Something like Lethal Company never needed to give you more of a reason to get out and do what you need to do. But I'll be honest, it is nice to have a driver that's attached to the things that you'll be doing to give you some actual motivation to move through the game. An overarching narrative, even when simple, can be a really effective tool at broadening the world and generating some stakes when it comes to the actions that you're taking. Something that wasn't present in the initial demo of Shift at Midnight is that very motivation. You're given a prompt that explains at the beginning that your pet is sick, giving you a reason to take such a shitty job at the world's most dangerous gas station, as you need the money to pay for their medication. Now, I'm obviously not going to say that this is some Oscar-worthy writing setup, but it, at the very least, sets a tangible motivator for you to do well as you start your very first shift, outside of the typical "you need to make money because someone's going to kill you if you don't" trope present in so many of these games. It's simple and effective, but it more broadly points to this idea that this game is trying, and succeeding in my opinion, at being a little bit more sophisticated than your standard clip farm experience, a clear indicator that the developer, another solo dev in this case, actually cared about making a compelling experience outside of going mega viral on TikTok, which they have also amazingly managed to do as well. And that's just the setup, right? There's some genuine world building here in regards to the doppelgangers themselves. There's a specialized police force that specifically deals with threats of that very nature, a mysterious entity / serial killer that's targeting that very group. There's a surprising amount here, and it's considerably more than I expected from a game like this. The atmosphere that this writing can conjure, it's really unnerving in exactly the kind of way that taking a bin out in the middle of the night can be, where you're not sure of what's creeping just beyond the tree line. Like, I mean it. The game is worth picking up just for that alone. And if that was everything, cool, right? whatever. But it's also really fucking weird and really funny at times, and it can make those moments of actual horror feel more impactful. I was playing with a couple of friends of mine, and there's heaps of customers around. It's a really hectic moment in the shop, and out of nowhere, I get approached by a cow that just moseys on up to me and says, "Nobody here will ever believe you," and just poofs out of existence. And if I wasn't recording, I bet I'd sound like an absolute lunatic. It's genuinely really funny. A lot of the customers have really interesting quirks about them. There's this gnome. Oh my god. Fucking gnome, Norbert I think his name was, and he'll just appear with the only goal of harassing you while you're trying to work, like blocking the entrance of the gas station with a Humvee or trying to sell drugged lemonade to your customers. It actually works really well juxtaposed against the genuinely unnerving atmosphere of the rest of the game and makes it feel super fresh over its short but sweet 3 to 4 hour runtime. It does have some jump scares here and there, but never in a way that feels egregious in the slightest. The main selling point here is the atmosphere. And I just want to mention, yeah, the game is short, but it's literally like $10, and the developer's also working on a fully randomized endless mode if this loop really clicks for you. So let's talk about that gameplay loop actually. There are some simple tasks to do like stocking shelves and cleaning up messes that should be pretty self-explanatory, but the meat and potatoes here is clearly taking a lot of notes from games like Papers, Please, which banger if you haven't played it, and that is only a good thing. If you've ever worked retail, you will know when customers enter the shop, they'll do what customers do. They'll browse the shelves, make a fucking mess, and then eventually they'll bring what they've got to the front counter, and your job, which is way above your pay grade, is to bag up their shit and also find out if they're a skinwalker. It's tutorialized fairly well with simple, effective scenarios where at least initially, it's pretty clear who is a genuine customer and who is just LARPing as a person, with a few oddballs thrown in there for good measure. But as the game progresses, it does get increasingly more complex. Certain nights will give you additional tools to scope out potential threats, like a scanner that can detect people's emotional state, with the first customer I had having a really substantial craving for human flesh. And when I questioned her about it, she insisted that it was totally normal. Let's just say she was promptly sent to the Shadow Realm. Oh, Jesus. There are some more challenging scenarios that also get introduced later on, like customers coming through to have their cars filled up, who can also be doppelgangers, requiring you to not just pump gas for them, but also make sure they are who they say they are, whilst also juggling the customers in the shop. Like Papers, Please, it can get quite stressful at times, especially when Norbert shows up to fuck with your shit. And fuck with your shit he will, the little bastard. Every time I see that guy, I get so mad. That stress is important because when your shift ends, if you fail to recognize any doppelgangers and let them leave, they'll come back to kill you, completely shifting the game into a more survival horror experience as you're given a short amount of time to prepare for the onslaught. You can set traps, use a variety of different weapons that steadily unlock over the course of the game. It's not the most mechanically deep combat system in the world or anything, but it really serves its purpose well, giving you a genuine reason to be as thorough as possible when interrogating your customers. There are different enemy types that will appear over the course of the game that actually require you to plan and prepare for their arrival, like a weeping angel type guy that only moves when you're not looking at him, but conveniently is invincible when being observed, meaning you have to have prepared some form of trap beforehand if you don't want to get disemboweled by this motherfucker. This like dual loop thing works really well, contrasting the more atmospheric but occasionally goofy shop management with some genuine horror. The more I think about this game, the more impressed I am by it. And if you've seen the game, it's also fully playable in multiplayer, which you might initially think would detract from the experience, cutting into the spooky atmosphere, but I'm happy to report, at least for me, I found that playing it alongside a couple of people actually complemented the gameplay loop quite a bit. As the game uses proximity chat, there are a few scenarios that will have someone go off by themselves while someone else stays to man the shop. If you want to operate efficiently, you're going to be pushed into isolation in some instances, and there were so many of these moments where someone would be taking the trash out only to yell out from behind the store, prompting everyone to come out and investigate.
James, I'm at the back. He made a heart of token.
Oh, thank you. Weirdly enough as well, I found the shop management and interrogation to actually be a little bit more interesting with multiple people to bounce ideas off of, as some of the doppelgangers are, let's just say, ambiguous to say the least. On more than one occasion, we'd get into arguments over whether someone was sus or not, like a floating monk that assured us that all humans can definitely float after reaching enlightenment, or a service dog that was shopping for his owner.
James, if this is not tofu, I will shoot you in real life in a video game.
I'm serious. He's a good boy, bro. Look, I did not expect much from this game at all, but something about it just kept worming its way into my brain, and I'm so glad that I decided to check it out because it's genuinely a blast in a way that really surprised me. There are so many of these types of games that release nowadays that are absolutely bait for streamers and are just not fun outside of some clippable moments. I'm not going to name any names, but you know exactly the kind of game that I'm talking about. Shift at Midnight is just so interesting in a way that these games usually aren't, taking from some pretty clear inspirations like Papers, Please and shop management sims and mashing them in to a really neat little horror experience that works both solo and with other people, something that cannot be said about a lot of these types of games. It can be scary, it can be genuinely unsettling, and it can be really fucking funny with a plot that isn't revolutionary by any metric, but does a lot to actually ground you in the things that you're doing with some genuine mystery thrown in there for good measure. And its gameplay is actually really interesting and engaging, making you think about what you're doing and giving you genuine consequences for screwing it up, but not in a way that feels annoying or unfair. Like, if you fail to identify a doppelganger, it's never frustrating. You genuinely want to find out what you got wrong, and that is great design. Look, for a game that I found on fucking TikTok, I enjoyed this a hell of a lot more than I expected, and I suspect that there's a few of you that will also enjoy this as much as I did, which is why it gets the reset button seal of approval. Seriously, it's like $10. Go play it. I promise you won't regret it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one.
Maybe get the scanner on it. You right?
Okay. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
What is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
scanning.
Christ! Oh my God! Oh, fuck me dead! Oh my God!